Hey guys, before we start off the video, I want to apologize about a few things. First of all, I want to apologize for the lack of content and videos up on the channel. It's just been really hot recently in the state I live in. It's been one of the hottest summers so far of the year. It's been 96 to 105 literally like for 5 weeks straight, and I just haven't been wanting to make videos, and it's been too hot. And the upcoming week is cooling down a little bit. Today it's actually like 86, but it still feels like it's 93. But yeah, it's just too hot. My house doesn't have central air, so that's why you hear the window unit in the background. I do apologize for that, but I'm not going to turn it off to make this video because I don't want to sit down and just sweat. We're ramping up and we're getting close to the multiplayer reveal. Again, we don't have any like solid information or official information about the multiplayer reveal for Modern Warfare 2. But if I were to guess when we would get the multiplayer reveal, that meaning being a multiplayer trailer and then some gameplay, I would say in the next couple of weeks we will get an official reveal trailer, and then we will start seeing content creators post their MP videos. Because we all know that the Call of Duty YouTubers have been flown out probably a month ago at this point to play Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer. And I'm expecting in the next couple of weeks for us to get the reveal trailer, and then all content creators are going to drop their multiplayer gameplay. As of right now, I think it was Charlie Intel who came out and said that the intervention has been confirmed for Modern Warfare 2. That basically confirming to us that they have already played the game, they've already played multiplayer. So, along with this, hopefully we get an alpha. I'm really hoping we get an alpha for this game. If we don't get an alpha, we have to wait a certain period of time before we get to play the game for the beta. I'm going to be a little bit upset. We'll still get to play the game. I'm very excited for Modern Warfare 2. But it hasn't really shown on the channel as of late because, again, it's just been too hot out. In this video, we're actually going to be talking about something that I want to see in Modern Warfare 2 when it comes to my immersion. Now, in the background footage, you're clearly seeing not Modern Warfare 2019 gameplay like the previous videos have been. This is a game called Insurgency Sandstorm. Now, if you don't know what this game is a little bit less of a hardcore shooter, but it's a tactical Milsim type of shooter on Steam, and it's on consoles. So if you want to pick the game up, you can go on Steam, pick it up. You can go on Xbox One and pick it up. You can go on PS5 and pick it up. I don't know if it's on the Epic Game Store or not, but most people don't really care if it is or not. I have played the Insurgency series because there was a game that came out before this on the Source engine called Insurgency. But Insurgency Sandstorm is basically the first game, but like a 2.0 version of the first game. And one of the most immersive features in Insurgency Sandstorm I want to see added to Modern Warfare 2. Some of the gameplay has already shown what I'm talking about. First, let's talk about brass and your links hitting the floor or the wall or any surface wherever you're by stays on the ground, like you can physically see it. In the gameplay, I'm using an MG3, which if you guys have, there'll be a link down in the description and an info card. If you guys remember, in the weapons I want to see added to Modern Warfare 2, I mentioned that I want to see the MG3 added to Modern Warfare 2. Now, the MG3 is just an MG42 modernized and chambered in 308. Now back to the immersion thing. I really hope Infinity Ward, they kind of did it with Modern Warfare 2019, but the second the brass left your firearm, the brass will just disappear. Like, you could see him hit the wall, and then you could see him hit the ground, and then they disappear. I would like for them to add to where, just for a pure immersion effect here, is once your brass leaves your gun, it will stay on the ground for a solid like 10 minutes or something. I know that might affect the game, especially in multiplayer. That might affect the performance of the game. But I mean, the moment it leaves the gun and out of your character's vision, they could kind of tone down the textures a little bit. But overall, I would like to see, like, let's say you're bipoded, and let's use this gameplay for an example. Let's say you're bipoded with your MG3, and while you're shooting, The MG3, by the way, the brass ejects from underneath the gun. It doesn't eject from the side. So as you're shooting, and then when you go to reload, you can look down and you can see all of your brass, no matter how many rounds you shot, is on the ground surface, either rolling around or just staying there. And then, alongside with LMGs, you have your links. Links is what keeps the belt together for LMGs. So, again, in Insurgency Sandstorm, your brass, your spent brass, I should say, and your links are still on the ground. I would like for them to stay a little bit longer in Modern Warfare 2, because just the immersion effect to where, like, let's say you're laying down and you're using an LMG where the brass ejects from underneath the receiver, and you're shooting, and you look down with your character and you see all of the brass that you shot, and you see all your links all over the ground. The immersion would just be astronomically like high, and it would make the game a lot cooler in my opinion, because you could look down and go, holy shit, I just emptied a 150 round box magazine and this looks fucking cool. They could add the effect of the brass smoking a little bit while it's on the ground. They kind of already do that with Modern Warfare 2019. That was one thing Modern Warfare 2019 brought to the immersion factor to Call of Duty, where you're not only is your firearm, you know, the muzzle debris and the ejection debris, there's a lot of smoke and just muzzle debris in general. I really love that, and sometimes you can see the brass smoking as it's being ejected. This can coincide with not just LMGs, I'm talking about every weapon platform, so SMGs, shotguns. I would just love for that immersion to be in Modern Warfare 2. I know this is a weird type of video to talk about, but I don't think I'm the only person who would like to shoot like a 150 round box magazine in Modern Warfare 2 with an LMG, and then while you're reloading you look down and you can individually see 150 spent brass just on the ground. People could make a lot of cinematic moments for Modern Warfare 2, like what people did with Modern Warfare 2019, making like cinematic movies or just cinematic videos in general, and they could pan across the ground and they could see all the spent brass as your character's reloading. Second to this immersion effect, along with Insurgency Sandstorm with your brass staying on the ground, what they could do is they could have it to where your magazines, no matter what gun you're using, will stay on the ground as well. Now, Black Ops 2 actually did this, but it didn't last forever. So what Black Ops 2 did is you could see your character reload, and he would drop the magazine, and the magazine would fall on the ground. It would stay there for a couple seconds, then it would disappear. In this game, obviously, I would like for it to stay as long as it can before it affects performance. So let's say you're shooting, you're using your M4, and with Modern Warfare 2019, when you did a full reload, when your character would drop the magazine, instead of keeping it and indexing it back into your plate carrier or your dump pouch, you would physically hear the magazine hit the ground surface of whatever you're on, whether it be metal, whether it be a wood floor, whether it be an asphalt or concrete ground, whether it be dirt. You can physically hear the magazine hit the ground when your character drops it. What I would like them to do for an additional immersion effect is when your character takes the empty magazine out of whatever gun you're using, and the physical audible audio that you hear is your magazine hitting dirt, let's say. And then if you physically look down, you can see your magazine there empty. And if you're using sleight of hand, if you shoot like, let's say, half your magazine, so you got 15 rounds left, and then you reload and your character drops the magazine, because that's what they do with sleight of hand, they don't keep the magazine, they just drop it, and you hear that magazine hit the ground, you can look down and you can see a magazine that still has bullets in it on the ground. That would just make the immersion like altogether even more just immersive, honestly. They could even take it a step forward to where if you're using a full-action sniper rifle that only uses stripper clips, so like your traditional like bolt-action rifle, so let's say they add the Kar 98 back to the game. And your character puts a stripper clip in and pushes the bolt forward, you can watch the magazine clip, the stripper clip, sorry, not magazine clip, the stripper clip hit the ground and stay on the ground. That would be kind of hard for them to do that because it's a tiny piece of like aluminum or metal that's on the ground, and they'd have to model that. But that would just make even more immersion to the game. I don't know if it'd be controversial, but this is a little bit weird and a little bit. I'm trying to think of the word, but I can't really think of the word. And this has been in previous Call of Duty. I'm talking about gore. I'm a huge proponent. It's so weird to talk about this because some people look at you like, what the fuck? What's wrong with you? And then other people, you guys get it. But I would like to see a little bit more gore effects and blood effects in Modern Warfare 2. So just like Insurgency Sandstorm, if you throw a nade into a room and it explodes, it will more than likely blow someone's limb off, and then there will be blood everywhere and then a pool of blood. That's kind of what I want to see. I know that's a little grotesque for multiplayer, and the only game that really had an extensive gore system in multiplayer was World at War. So I don't know, it's just me. I would just like a little bit more realistic blood effects in the game entirety, not just campaign, but in the game entirety. So like if someone's up against a wall and you shoot them, there's a realistic blood effect against the wall, and then if they slump up against the wall and then slide down it, there's a blood effect of the blood sliding down the wall. That's just me. I know a lot of people are going to be looking at me and typing in the comments like, what the fuck is wrong with you? That's so weird. But I don't know, just to add another immersion effect to the game. I know there were some people saying they want a suppression effect added to this game. As much as I love my Milsim shooters, I hate suppression effects because it just slows the game down, especially Call of Duty, which is an arcade shooter. A little bit less with Modern Warfare 2019 and Modern Warfare 2 because they're taking a more Milsim route with their multiplayer, which is great. I think they need to continue that through Call of Duty because it makes the game feel a little bit realistic for being an arcade shooter. So I don't want that in the game. So we're wrapping the video up. To recap, I would like to see your brass on the ground physically and stay there as long as it can until it affects a performance and then disappear. Along with that, if you're using an LMG that has a box mag or a belt, have the LMG links, the belt links on the ground as well. Your magazines, whether it be from LMG, SMGs, assault rifles, marksman rifles, sniper rifles, you guys get the point. Also, I think what would be kind of cool is if one thing with Call of Duty is something they never get correct is when you pull a pin on a grenade, the spoon of the grenade never flies off. I think Modern Warfare 2018 is the only game to where when you pull the pin on a grenade, the spoon flies off. I think. I'm not entirely sure. So hopefully another immersion thing they can add before we wrap up the video here is when they pull the pin on the grenade, the spoon will fly off. Because if that spoon doesn't fly off, the grenade isn't going to go off. Well, if you pull the pin on the grenade and you're holding the spoon, the grenade won't go off. But the moment the spoon goes off, you have about 2 seconds before the grenade goes off in your hand. So, hopefully that's one thing they can figure out. But without further ado, like, comment, subscribe, guys. I know this is a relatively short video compared to most of my Modern Warfare 2 videos. I would just like the immersion altogether to be there for this game, whether it be, again, the brass on the ground, the links if you're using a belt fed, magazines, grenade carcasses, altogether I hope that immersion is there. If not, I'm not going to complain too much, but I would like for it to be there. But without further ado, I do apologize for the AC unit in the background. Again, it's just too hot. I'm not turning it off to make a video because I'll just die while I'm making the video. I'm even dying right now when I'm doing it with it on. But yeah, I'll let you guys go. Let me know down in the comments if you agree with me. Let me know down in the comments if you've played Insurgency Sandstorm, if you agree with some of the effects and stuff. But I'm going to let you guys go. This has been Obsessed with Modern Warfare.